Hello, everyone, and welcome to Training with Nicole. Today, we have my husband Sam joining us, and he's going to be our demo. We'll go ahead and get started with our full body cars, starting with the neck. So you can grab 2 tennis balls or 2 rec balls or anything that you have. Go ahead, stand with your feet about hip width apart, arms by your side, pack the air down, pack your shoulders down, bracing through the core, nice and tight through the whole body as you bring your neck into flexion, your chin comes into the chest. We'll take the chin to scrape across that right collarbone. And as you come into that little bit of rotation and side bend, and stay braced through your core as you go ahead and extend on back through the neck. Yeah, keeping the ribs packed down, keeping the core braced throughout the entire movement. And then start to bring your neck over to the left. A little bit of that rotation, side bend, still creating tension through the arms. And then one more in that direction like that. And so maintaining pace, maintaining cadence throughout. Chin's gonna scrape right across the collarbone. You get as much rotation as you can before you start to side bend, and then finding that extension. And just watching the ribs. We wanna keep the ribs in and down, and as you come back into that extension. So this is all coming from that neck moving. Perfect. And then go ahead, switch directions. Chin into chest. Nice, finding that rotation, right side bend, extend back. Glute squeeze, core brace, keep checking in with that. Good, one more like that. Keep maintaining tension and watching that you're not arching through the lower back at all. Good, now we're gonna go ahead right into our sticking zone. So this is the point where you felt the most tension as you were going through those cars, where you wanna spend a little extra time. So we're gonna go ahead and stay there, find that sticking zone, and then just wring it out. And so a lot of people, they have it in that just portion where they're side bending and they feel it in the lateral side of the neck. Other people may feel it more in the extension or more when you bring your chin into the chest. So just give that area of your neck a little bit of extra love, a little bit of extra tension. And then 5, 4, 3, 2, and go ahead and rest. From there, we're gonna go right into our cow and cat on the ground. Next we'll move into our cow and cat. So starting in cat pose with the spine rounded. So this is your best arch spine. You'll feel the heels of the hands pressing down, your knees, and even the tops of the feet pressing down into the ground. Your core is really active here to help you get into this arch spine. Now we're gonna make our way into cow pose and our extended spine, but we're gonna move really slow and segmentally. So I'm gonna ask Sam to move first from his low back. So you're almost like arching just from the pelvis, nothing else moves. And then come from the low mid back and then the high low back. Then we're gonna start to move low mid back, more into your mid back, and then finally into the high mid back, and then into your neck. So this is the best extended spine that you can create. This is your cow pose here. Your hands are still actively pressing into the ground. Your shoulders are driving down as you extend the spine. And now we're gonna do the same thing, segmentally moving, but now we're gonna go into arch spine. So low mid back is gonna arch first, and then, low back, then low mid back, low high back, and then low mid back, mid back into the high back, and then neck. Good, so let's do that once more. Arching the spine from the low back, feel that tilt of the pelvis. Yeah, start to tilt the pelvis here and start moving up the spine. So just tune in. You don't have to go at this pace. If you want to go slower or faster, or however you feel it in your body. Perfect. And then just making your way once more into cat, starting to round. Perfect. Then we're going to stay on the ground. We're going to come into a kneeling position and move into our scapula cars. So I'm going to have Sam hold a block here, and he's going to go ahead and bring his arm straight out in front of him. So as you're kneeling, still want to maintain that brace through the core. So you're going to bring the block right between your hands. Good. I'm going to have you bring it like this. Perfect. And what you'll do is you're going to go ahead and punch forward with the block so your shoulder blades are protracting. So actually, Sam, will you go ahead and turn to the side? Good. So Sam's shoulder blades protracting, going away from him. And then bring the shoulders up to the ears. And then go ahead and bring them back behind you. Good. And then go ahead and down. So that's your depression. Let's do that again. Arms stay straight. This is just from the scapula. So both protract. Find that, yeah, elevation. Nice. Bring them back for your retraction. And then go ahead and bring them down for the depression. Nice. We're going to reverse that now. Elevate. Protract. Go ahead, depress. And retract. Shoulder blades together. Good. Once more, elevate. So the shoulder blades come up to the ears, up, 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 up. And then forward, bring them forward. Go ahead and lower them down. Nice. And then shoulder blades into the back. Good. And rest. Perfect. Now we're moving into the shoulder cars. So Sam is going to go ahead and wrap the right arm across the rib cage. This is going to ensure that he's staying braced through the core, right? The ribs are not splaying out. And then go ahead and start to bring your arm across the body. Nice. The bicep is going to come up towards the ear. And then we're going to start to reach this arm back. And as you reach it back, it's not coming from rotation, right? But it's just from the shoulder. So the shoulder is finding some of that internal rotation as it comes on back. The hand comes to the hip and then reverse. Extending that arm back. Go ahead, start to rotate, rotate, rotate that shoulder, right? In that glenohumeral joint. It bicep to the ear, and then it comes right down back towards the inner thigh. Good. Let's do one more like that. Head up towards the ear, bicep to the ear. Stay braced. Keep watching that those ribs are staying down by the side. And reverse. Yeah, each time fighting for more reps, fighting or sort of more tension. Right? Fighting for a little bit more range of motion. Nice. And switch, other side. So wrapping that arm across the ribs. Starting to flex the arm up as you bring it into that position. Good. Still squeezing the tennis ball. Rotate, rotate, rotate through that shoulder joint. Good. And then extend it back. Nice. As far as you can. And when you no longer can, that arm starts to open up, not from the wrist, but from the shoulder. Good. And then one more here. Start to bring it externally, rotate, abduct, and we'll bring it into that internal rotation, right on down. And then kick it right on back. Send it back behind you. Yeah, feeling that portion of the shoulder open. And relax. Go ahead and take that. We'll take it now into elbows. So setting up into a kneeling position. Arms by your side. So almost like you're holding a pizza tray. We're going to supinate as much as you can. So bring those pinkies to point in, and then go ahead and lower the arms now down by your side. Keeping those pinkies in, so that's your supination. You're gonna press up, imagining that pizza tray here, like it's nice and heavy. And then point your thumbs in as you go ahead and lower down. And then go ahead, bring the pinkies in and bring it up. And then bring it, thumbs in and lower down. Good, so keeping this pronation, we'll keep the thumbs in and come up into your flexion. And then reverse, and this is all coming from that elbow pit, lower down. Nice, one more. Reverse, the thumbs are gonna face in and right on up. Good, we'll be back in that starting pizza tray position. You're gonna make fists, we'll get into the wrists. Elbows are nice and tight by the sides. You're gonna bring the pinkies in towards one another and then start to bring the pinkies down towards the ground. And then the thumbs are gonna make their way out to the sides and then in and up. Good, you got one more in that direction. And just watching the wrist, making sure nothing else is contributing. You get two in one way, just go ahead and switch two in the other direction. Perfect. We'll move into our hips. So I'm gonna have Sam lie down onto his side. You can use this as a pillow. And taking knees right into chest. Just go ahead and bring your arms out in front of you and squeeze. So right now you're just gonna go ahead and stay braced through the core. And we're gonna work through our hip cars. So take the knee right into the chest. Okay, not moving from the lower back. Knee into chest for your hip flexion. Now let's come out to the side for that hip abduction. Now you're gonna start to extend it back, and as you're extending it back, you're gonna internally rotate. So Sam's doing a really good job of getting that ankle above the knee, and then bringing the knee down, and then back in. Good, and now to reverse this, you're just gonna kick back, and then when you can no longer kick back, start to externally rotate, so that now that knee is gonna go up and then back in. Good, that creates one, and then knee into chest. Let's go for two. Out to the side. Good, extend it back, find that internal rotation. Get that ankle above the knee as best you can. Good, lowering it down, and then the knees come in to meet each other, and then just kick it back. Kick back, kick back, kick back. Externally rotate. Good, and knees in. Let's do one sticking point. So we got 30 seconds. We're gonna bring the knee out to the side. I'm just gonna put Sam in the position that I find most people find is their sticking point. And he's just gonna kind of internally rotate and externally rotate. Yeah, almost like you're sweeping that leg through and you're trying to maintain tension throughout. So not just when you get to the stop portion of the movement, that little pause, but throughout the entire time. And staying braced here as much as possible. Good, 5, 4, 3, 2, and rest. We'll switch to the other side. Got it? Mm-hmm. It's gonna be really hard not to move the lower back, but we're gonna ask you to do your best. So knees into chest a little bit more. Good, and then we'll go ahead, bring your knee into chest, find that hip flexion, coming into that abduction, and then internally rotate. Yeah, this is where it can get tough. Nice, and then your knees come down to meet, feet come to meet, yes, and then go ahead, kick it on back. And as you're kicking back, so I'm just gonna have Sam start back here. When you're kicking back, I want you to actually imagine that you're kicking into something and you'll feel the back of that leg working. There it is. Actually, rotate as much as you can before finding those knees to meet. Good, that's one. We got one more. Nice and slow. Core still brace. Stop. Yeah, try to get that ankle. Keep the footwork in here too. Nice, and then kick back. Externally rotate, abduct. Yeah, finding that hip joint. Good. And now sticking point. So bringing the knee up to the ceiling and then just wringing out that little portion. And it may be a different spot for you, so feel free. Can you flex your foot for me? Yep, and then just wringing out internal. Good, and then sweep that leg through for external. Good, just a little bit longer. 3, 2, and rest. Taking a break on those hips. We're gonna come up into a seat now. And we'll move into our knees. So for the knee, you'll go ahead and start with the right side. Okay, interlace, wrap your right arm underneath the left. Right arm will go underneath right leg. Yeah, there we go. I said it wrong. And then hand to the bicep, left hand to the top of the knee. We're gonna start with the knee externally rotating. And so we wanna watch that tibia, make sure that's what's moving, and then go ahead and find that extension. And so you'll straighten, but not to that fullest degree. You're gonna hold back a little bit and then internally rotate. So watching that knee, so it's the tibia moving in and then flexing down. Good, so let's do that again. Externally rotate from the knee and flex. Good, internally rotate and lower down. So I'm sorry, I said flex, but it was your extension. All right, so let's go ahead, internally rotate. Good. And then externally rotate. Perfect. Internal. Good, bring it up. External and lower down. Nice. And then I'm just gonna get 2 ankle circles in one direction. So these are controlled articular rotations still. Just bringing that joint through a full range of motion, and then go ahead and switch to the other way. And let's switch, other side. So left arm will hook underneath your left leg. Your left hand will grab onto your right bicep. Your right hand can come to the top of the knee. So we're watching that knee. We want to bring it into that external rotation, and we'll also bring your foot out to the side a little bit. So start with the ankle in. Good, so we have some room to move here, and then we'll go ahead and straighten up the leg. Good, and then go ahead, internally rotate and flex. Good, externally rotate, extend. Internally rotate and flex. Nice. Keeping that knee in, bring it up. Externally rotate and down. Once more, internal, watching the knee turn in, up, out, and down. Beautiful. And then right into 2 ankle cars. You can watch the knee, maybe even bring your hand to your knee and make sure that it is not moving along with the ankle. So you want joint independence, that they can move without the other one. Good. And then you can go ahead and just take your socks off, and we'll move into toes. And toes, we'll go ahead and do these standing. And so first one, you'll bring just the big toe up, and the outer 4 are gonna press down. Good, and lower down, big toe up, and down, big toe up, and lower down. Now big toe down, outer 4 up. Good, lower down, big toe down, outer 4 up, and lower, big toe down, outer 4 up. Good, now all of them up, and the big toe down by itself. All of them up, big toe down, All of them up. And big toe down. All right, last one, all of them spread as wide as you can spread your toes, and then pinky toe down, try to, like a piano, play the piano one by one, placing them down to the ground. Good, that's one. And two. And three. Excellent, so that completes our cards for today. So next we're gonna move into side lying glenohumeral joint PAILS rails. So the first will be your PAILS for 45 seconds, then we'll move into rails for 45. We'll repeat that again, but before we repeat it, we're gonna come into some passive range lift stops and some capsule cars. So we'll go ahead and get started with just a minute stretch first. And so Sam is just gonna bring his knuckles down to the ground, and his top arm can aid in this assist, aid as an assist in the stretch. And so hopefully right now, all he's feeling is front of the shoulder stuff. Is that what you're feeling, Sam, primarily? Perfect. So that's what we want to feel. You shouldn't be hiking up the shoulder blade and the back to get there. So shoulder blades are stacked on top of one another. And we're just going to hold here for a little bit longer. And so right now, it's a great time to incorporate your deep breaths, taking a slow breath in and a slower breath out. Good, holding here just a little bit longer. And continuing to breathe, inhale and exhale. This is a sleeper's position, but don't close your eyes here and actually fall asleep. We're going to be moving, and we're going to need some tension here as we set up our PAILS. And so what PAILS is going to look like is it's almost like this arm is going to be trying to move out to the side, right? And instead, you're going to use your hand here as tension against it. So the arm is trying to win, but the arm on top is the one that is winning. So we're going to go ahead doing this PAILS for 45 seconds. Go ahead, starting at 20%, start to ramp up some intensity, feeling top of the shoulder. Now this is a joint that you want to go nice and slow when you ramp up intensity. So going up to 40%, think more of 60%. Good, 80%. And then maintain this 80%. I'm just going to ask you to stop here. Okay, and hold for another 10 seconds. Good, 3, 2, 1, and then rest. Let's go right into our rails. So you'll bring your hand to the opposite side, and then internally rotating from that shoulder joint, you're gonna start to press down. So it's not a pec fly into the ground, but it's from the shoulder joint internally rotating. Let's try to feel that. Okay, arm is winning. Okay, but the shoulder is trying to fight it down. Good, slowly building tension. Remember, stopping at that 80% for this first round. Last 10 seconds. Good, keep pressing down, right? Maintaining that tension for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Good, take a deep breath. And you can bring that arm now by your side, and we'll go right into some of our passive range lift stops. So just take a moment here to take a deep breath in, deep breath out. Good. I'm gonna have you bring your arm down, feel that nice stretch. And then go ahead, bring your hand here on top. Okay, it's gonna give you a deeper stretch, and then you're just gonna let your hand come up. Yeah, come about, so this is that deep, as deep of a stretch as you can get. And you're gonna come up a little bit out of that so we can go into those passive range lift offs. So this arm is gonna stay here. Go ahead and bring your hands flat. And this hand will stay, yep, and then go like this.
Gotcha.
Good. Okay, and then you're gonna go ahead and peel the hand away from that. So just lowering down. Good, 1, 2, 3. Nice. 4, 5, making sure it's not from the wrist. 6, 7, good. 8, 9, coming back to the hand. 10, 2 more. 11, and 12. Good. I'm gonna go back down by the side. And then we're gonna go into that full capsule car for 6. So go ahead right into it. Arm is gonna come down to the ground as far as it can go. And you're trying to press that arm down and then bring it all the way up and internally rotate. As slow as you feel comfortable. And go ahead, externally rotate. And internally rotate, maintaining tension throughout. Remember, we want to be gentle here though with the shoulder joints, especially if this is your first time doing this. 2 down. Good. 3. Last 3 here. 4. And 5. Guys pressing down and good. 6. Awesome. Let's come back into that first position was set up for our pails. There we go. So take a deep breath in. Pack that air down, brace through the core. First feeling the stretch. Bring that and twist it a little bit. Yeah, there we go. And then let's go ahead, start for 25 seconds. Pails, pressing your right arm into that left hand. Good. Left hand is winning here. 25 seconds. You can give it a little bit more intensity the second time if it felt good. Otherwise, stay at that 70-80% range. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then immediately now let's go into that rail. So switch your hand to the other side. And then 25 seconds, go ahead and begin. And so remember, it's not a pec fly, so trying to distinguish, can you feel that shoulder joint rotating inward, but without hiking up the shoulder blade, without making it that pec fly. Good, ramping up at intensity. Right, and then you find a good spot, you're just gonna stay there, we're gonna hold it here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Set up for the lift offs. So first finding the stretch. And then you're gonna come out of the stretch. So you're gonna set up into that end range, and then I want you to come more into mid-range and then go for 12, 11, good, lift off, 10, 9, 8, good, 7, here it is, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good, go ahead and rest. Bring the arm by the side, and let's go into that full capsule car. So arm presses down to the ground, that's 1. Good. 2, try to maintain tension throughout the whole time. Good, 3. And last one. Good, rest. Let's go ahead and switch all of that on the other side. And so first starting in that side lying glenohumeral stretch. We have 1 minute of the stretch. So go ahead, first stacking your shoulder blades on top of one another, stacking knees, anything that you can get yourself comfortable here, because you know we're gonna be here for 2 sets, we're gonna be here for some time. And so starting with the stretch, you're gonna take your right hand on top of the left wrist and just aid it to assist in that stretch for 1 minute here. And while you're stretching, your deep breathing, you wanna take that slow inhale and slower exhale. This is just a stretch. It doesn't have to be as intense as the other side. It doesn't have to look or feel anything like the other side at all. Right, just honoring the differences between the two. Right, not trying to force the side. And I ask if you do feel pain that you scale back, right? That you check in with yourself. Maybe switch it up if you need. Holding here just a little bit longer, staying with that slow breath in, slow breath out. And we do ask for effort here. But remember, this is a shoulder joint, so we want to be gentle because they can be sensitive, especially if this is your first time working in these positions. All right, so let's go ahead first into that PALS. So you're in that end range of motion, and now you're going to go ahead and start to ramp up. 20%. Good. 40%. 50%. 60%. And 80%, and just staying right here. Trying to externally rotate the arm away from the body. You're trying to bring it down towards the ground, but your top arm is not letting it win. And rest. Go ahead right into your rails. It's a different side. It may be a little different, but try and find that internal rotation, pressing down into your hand. Good. And it's that 35 seconds going down into the ground, building up gradually over time, and then sustaining that last 80%. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come back into your stretch. So that very first position where you are in your stretch. Hand can come on top. Good. And then take the hand off and come out of that stretch a little bit, just 10 to 20 degrees. Good. We're going to go into those lift offs. 3, 4. And we don't want too much room between that top arm and the bottom hand. Good. So it's not a major movement. A very small, feeling that rotation. Okay, less about point A to point B and more about what you feel inside of your shoulder. And rest. Good, let's go into that full capsule car. So arm by your side. And remember, you are creating tension, so don't fall asleep here because the whole body should still be working, right? Still creating tension. Yeah, you can grab into your leg, you can squeeze your feet together, anything you need, if you need any tension tools. Good, 3 more. And rest. Going into round 2, second set, and then we're done with this. First set is our PALS. A little less time this second set, only 25 seconds. Go ahead and begin. Still ramping up slowly into that external rotation. It may feel a little different in this abducted position. And always being gentle with the shoulder. Nice work. We got about 10 more seconds like this. And switch, going right into that rails. Bring the hand to the other side and an internal rotate. Pressing into the ground. But the bottom arm is now winning. Good, keep holding. 3, 2, 1, and lift offs. So hand comes back on top. Getting into that stretch, that end range, taking yourself out. Go for 12. Yeah, less room between that top arm and bottom arm. That's it. And 12. Good, arm by the side, creating tension here. And we have 6 capsule cars, almost gave you 12. There we go, 1. Good, 2. And last one. And 6.